As someone involved in the business side of football, I was very, very happy to be able to interview Mr. Seth Amoafo. He runs one of the biggest football academies in the Middle East and runs the biggest youth league in Abu Dhabi. So it was great to get an insight on his journey, how he went from working at clubs in the UK to going to the Middle East and dominating the football environment over there, what his academy, PASS, is all about, PASS Abu Dhabi, and also a few other things. So it was really good to interact with him. Go for it, watch it, and enjoy. Today is a wonderful day. I get to interact with Mr. Seth Amoafo, who I believe is a complete revolution. He has coached at some reputed clubs in the UK and then moved on to the Middle East, where he has started and he's running a very, very successful football academy. A top entrepreneur, runs a big youth league, and I'm super excited to really delve into his journey as well as getting a few tips and insights into coaching and the business side of football. So how are you doing, Seth?
I'm good, Ryan. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Pleasure. So before we go into the very, very successful academy that you have started, can we get to know from you about the journey of Seth Amoafo, the person?
Ah, where do I start? It's quite a long one. I think the journey, probably the best way to describe my journey is something of taking opportunities and embracing every experience. Born in Ghana, lived in Ghana, moved to the UK when I was 11. And then the kind of, as I got older and when I got a bit older, to like university time, my life kind of started to kind of have a meaning, if you like. So I studied law, and then I went into coaching, and then I went into teaching, and then back into coaching again, and somehow ended up running my own business. So it's been kind of a very, very interesting, you know, backdrop, if you like, but it's been also been very good because I picked up a lot of experiences along the way.
You have had quite some rich experience for sure. And can you describe the grassroots football structure in England as well as the UAE?
Um, I think there's a lot of similarities between England and the UAE in terms of grassroots football. Obviously, it is the same in terms of kids want to play sport. You've still got your mad parents and coaches in both countries. I mean, I've coached in America, England, obviously Abu Dhabi. And one thing that's pretty consistent is that the coach different, the kind of coaching structure is pretty similar, and the coaching attitude varies because you've got some coaches that and parents that are understanding of what grassroots football is about, and you've got some mad ones as well. But what I can say is I think it's consistent across the whole world. The biggest probably difference is between the two is facilities, and the UAE's obviously got better facilities. Grass is better, in Africa is better. You can play almost all year round, obviously with the exception of the warm weather, so opposite to England. And then I think the coaching as well, when you look at grassroots, you've got a lot more, dare I say, in inverted commas, professional coaches in the Middle East
Yeah.
compared to maybe back home where you've got parents kind of running it. But I can't say they're better, but just more of a professional outlook on how the Middle East sport is compared to UK sport.
And that brings you to establishing PASS Abu Dhabi in 2012. So, can you tell us what PASS provides and how you turned it into one of UAE's biggest football providers?
I'm lucky. I'm lucky to have had a lot of fantastic experiences through sport. And what I try to do is pass is try to bring that same attitude to sport. And that, it's not really about the game of football itself, it's about what sport can teach you. The kind of the skills you learn, the teamwork, resilience, the bravery and the confidence that you get from playing sport. I think that's what it does. And the lessons and the life lessons that you learn from sport, it's the most important thing. So with PASS, it's basically using, football to develop lifelong values in young people. So, how can we attract them with football, but use that to really help them be better people? When they enter a room, can they shake people's hands? Can they look in the eye? When they make a mistake, can they recover? All these little things I think is really important as you get older. That's what we're trying to bring into, this PASS and use that really to use the football aspect of it to really help us to develop that
It's a
aspect of development.
it's a holistic program for sure and a highly successful one. But are there any challenges you face in leadership or culture running a business in a nation, especially as a foreigner?
Yeah, I think you do. I mean, obviously, set up a business in the Middle East as a foreigner is not easy. But there's a way around it. Once you get the right advice, you can definitely find a way around it. I think it's trying to establish a culture and trying to establish an understanding with people with your staff and your recruitment. That's the hardest part. Because in the Middle East per se, I mean, I guess in all parts of the world, football's big business now. It's huge money. So it's about trying to find people that want to come and join you for the message and for the culture that you're trying to, you know, enforce, or the culture you're trying to grow, rather than coming here to make money and making millions. Because let's face it, we're going to coach you not because we want to make millions, it's because we want to make a million impact, if you like. So it's about finding the right people that want to come on board and have that same purpose to try and develop young people. And I'm lucky enough that at PASS we've got fantastic members of staff that really kind of embrace what we're trying to do. And we do things differently, and they understand that, and they try really hard to push that. So that I'm really happy with the guys that we've got. I'm really happy with the parents, and the parents we've got. They also bought into our message, and they're trying to develop that aspect of it all.
You've given fantastic opportunities to coaches from all around the world to experience Middle Eastern football through your organization. And from the on the footballing side of things, what does a typical training session look like at PASS, and what do you prioritize on achieving with your players?
With everything we do at PASS is very much trying to develop the individual. So, looking at, like I said, looking at how we can develop the values of the individual, but also with the training aspect of it all, trying to develop the individual and try to help them be the better they can be. So a lot of our training is very kind of one-to-one based, 1v1 based, 2v1, trying to help them develop their kind of individual skills that will help them. So,
Yeah.
I mean, the training is similar to most trains, I guess, in a way, but the approach is different. We look at what each player needs and try to help them to the best they can be. So sometimes it might be a case of where we'll play the players up to an older age group, or play them with different groups, or we kind of mix things around, try to help them. So the best way to describe it is that some clubs might look at players fitting into their system.
Yep.
We look at how we can fit into the players. So how can we help these players? So, play in different positions. This player might not necessarily be good at receiving the ball, or might not necessarily playing in tight areas. So we're going to put them in a situation which is going to test them or her and try to develop that aspect of it all, because, like I said earlier, it's about using sport to develop them to the best of what they can be, and try to help them kind of develop that resilience and that understanding and that hard work to be able to get who they need to get to. So what we do at PASS is very much individual based. They're helping these young players be, good and be the best they can be in their area and their situation.
And you have not just set up a very successful academy, you have also set up a very successful league. So, can you tell me more about the biggest youth league of Abu Dhabi that you have created?
So in 2015, we set up, I looked at around, saw that there wasn't really a league in Abu Dhabi. Everyone was kind of going to Dubai to play competitively. So
Yeah.
I got a few of the other managers or coaches together and said, look, let's set up a league in Abu Dhabi that will help service the Abu Dhabi community. Yeah, 8 years down the line, the Abu Dhabi Youth League, which is then sponsored by Mubadala, and Mubadala Youth League kind of grew to 140, 150 plus teams. And then this year, or last summer, we got quite big for us, so we passed it on to the Junior Premier League, the JPL, to come and kind of take over and run it using expertise. So, we had about 180 plus teams in it last year, from under 8 all the way to under 18. And
Massive.
it's something we're proud of, because it's something that's for the Abu Dhabi community. It's set up for them. It's not by us, not for us at PASS or anyone else, but it can provide a service to the community, which I think is really important. That's what we're here for, to try and help the young kids that we're working with get an opportunity to grow and to develop and to be the best that they can be.
You have truly immersed your organization in the local footballing ecosystem. But going back, did being an English teacher for 8 years in Abu Dhabi help in understanding the ecosystem there? And did they have any benefit in you running your footballing activities?
Oh, massively, massively. I mean, working in the schools here, working with, I worked with the Emirati youth in the schools I worked at, and then I was an English teacher at Al Jazeera Football Academy, teaching the young players English. So having that experience of being around and seeing different, kind of people and different cultures and demographics is really important, and it helps because number one, I got to understand a bit of Arabic. Number two, I got to understand the culture of it all. And I feel I got to make some really good friends in the industry that helped me down the line as well. So, obviously the teaching aspect was great, because I became a teacher because I love, trying to help and create this impact for the young players, but also having the opportunity to be able to use that experience and those contacts and those people I've met down the line to help, create, PASS and to create the league, everything else has been really beneficial to me. So I'm very thankful for that experience.
And you have also you're known for devising very good PE curriculum. So when you do devise a PE curriculum, what factors do you consider, and what does your curriculum usually look like?
Yeah. So in 2014, I was asked, myself and about six other people were asked to kind of develop the PE curriculum for the whole of the UAE. The DADEC, the Education Council, as it was known at the time. It's a really good experience. 9 months, in the office, kind of looking at best practice, looking at what was going on at the moment. And I think we did from kindergarten, from grade 2 to kindergarten to grade 6 or grade 8 at the time. It was a really good experience for us because it helped understand the demographics of the school system and then how we could potentially work with it and also to create around the other countries and use that to help that. So it's something that we're proud of, something that was able to go out and implement across all the schools in Abu Dhabi as well. So it was a really good experience for us.
100%. And, so PASS Abu Dhabi is very famous, but I again want to just go back into understanding you a little better. So, despite all these achievements in football, you have still decided to go ahead with developing yourself. So, you did a Masters of Sports Directorship course from the Manchester Metropolitan University, and you have not done this when you started, you did this after becoming successful. So, what motivated you to do the course, and what was the experience like? What topics did they cover mainly?
There was obviously when I started PASS, it was more of an accident really because I just started something small and it became bigger and bigger and bigger and became a proper company. So I felt like I only need to go back and learn a little bit more about running a business and about myself as well. And when COVID came, it was a great opportunity for myself. I mean, COVID wasn't great in many aspects, but on a personal level, it was good because it allowed me a chance to kind of reflect and go back and kind of think about what I was doing and why I was doing what I was doing.
Yeah.
I had a friend of mine was doing this course, MSc course at Manchester Metropolitan.
Yeah.
It looked really interesting. I loved it. I loved the group of people that were in there. I loved the learnings. I loved learning about myself in the leadership module and the kind of neurological module that we did. We did a module on operation, a full governance. So it was a really good opportunity for me to look at things and say, okay, well, actually, I know this already, but I just didn't put it into theory. And actually, oh wow, this is new theory that I hadn't learned, I didn't know about. And I was lucky enough to finish with a master's, which was brilliant, and I was really happy with that. And then also, I just managed to come out of it learning a lot more about myself and learning a lot more about who I was and what my purpose was in life. And it was quite refreshing to be able to kind of know why you are existing in life, what you're here for. And the course helped me do that. And then I was able to also link up with Right to Dream, the academy in Ghana and Egypt, and Denmark obviously as well. And that was brilliant to have that experience. I did my dissertation on them and trying to create a purpose, a purpose framework for their sponsorship and stuff. But I learned a lot more about the organization and a lot more about how they do things, and it was really inspirational to see it. And obviously, from someone from Ghana as well, it was really fantastic to have an organization that was doing great things for my people, if you like. So it's great.
And it's also incredible that you want to continue your learning despite all the achievements. But I also wanted to
Yeah.
know, so, you're running such a huge organization. Your background, you started off as a coach. So, and you have a fantastic coaching team. But do you get time? Do you get the opportunity to coach at your academy too much, or is it mainly just strategy?
No. I mean, I love the opportunity to coach. I think it's important to be around and to have opportunity to kind of see what other guys are doing, see what the coach is doing, and also put myself in their shoes in terms of what's happening, so I can kind of empathize with them more and understand what's going on more as well. So I always love to be around with the players because I mean that's what we coach in the first place. So
Right.
to have the opportunity to be around with the players and to be able to to see them and to interact with them. So I think I'll always be doing some sort of coaching for sure all the time.
That's incredible. And just before we finish, who better to ask than you? So, for all the coaches who aspire to coach in the UAE, aspire to coach in the Middle East, what kind of coaching opportunities exist over there for overseas coaches, as well as any advice you give to any coaches who plan to go overseas to coach?
I mean, the positive thing is that the amount of football academies in Abu Dhabi and the UAE is growing, each year. There's so many out there, so I think there's a lot of opportunities around for people that want to come and coach. I mean, I think just maybe following them on social media,
Yeah.
following us on social media, PASS Abu Dhabi, different organisations, and not just checking LinkedIn and that stuff. And I think to be able to get a role here and a good role here, I think you just got to understand why you're doing what you're doing, and then the different companies that'll be out there saying, look, we want to create the best, the next Leo Messi, if you're that kind of coach, then that's your kind of organization. Want to do something that benefits the community and benefits kids, that's what you're into, then this is your kind of organization. So do your research, find out the organizations around, and see if they fit your purpose and your style.
And any other advice you give in terms of their lifestyle? Because after all, moving overseas is big, right? I mean, it's not just the football; it's family, it's finances. Anything off the field that you advise?
I think just be flexible. I think, I always say to people, it takes a good 6 months to be able to get established and settled in the UAE. So I think, if you're looking to come over, I think you have to understand that, be flexible and understand it's going to take some time to be able to settle in that respect as well. And then, just be open to experiences and embrace every opportunity and every experience that comes your way.
100%. Wise words for sure. This was a incredible, short and effective chat, and I thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule, because I know how much you're doing in 24 hours every day. And yes, this is going to be a great insight for all the coaches who may want to run their own business in the future, as well as coaches who want to go to the Middle East to coach. So absolutely delighted. Thank you for giving me your time.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Take care. Thank you.